to pick up this pistol early on as Alex, Stanley, Astro, and Frey actually just full armor across the board. No utility at all for that T-side. Couple of flashbangs. Diffuse kit onto Arvid, so a much more standard buy over on the CT side of things. 4 sets of armor picked up in support. And it looks like it's going to be an early rush towards the B bomb site from Fierce Esports. They are just gunning it straight through onto B here. Not waiting around at all. Kern takes the early contact. That baits away from the car player, but Frey's found one, and Astro gets the second. The B bomb site ripped open single-handedly by Fierce Esports. And this is a 5v3 after plant. The flashbangs are still available, but for SJ, trying to break into this B-bomb site is going to be all but impossible. They have the long flank coming in already, and Eccles actually looking the wrong way. We'll just get his head removed. That makes it a little bit more viable for SJ, but realistically, not a lot they can do into this round. Arvid's waiting in towards CT spawn to line up the flashbangs for his teammates as Zati and Sadix trying to take that early contact. The flashbang doesn't work. 2 players spotted out, and now SJ trying to make their way into the site, but the crossfire's there. Stanley gets the first, and he's just playing for time, baiting the shots out all onto Sadix, who can only get the first frag. Fierce Esports will take the pistol round and will get themselves off to a flying start on that T side. And how important could that be, considering they only managed 2 rounds in their entire game last time these two teams met over on Dust 2. It will be the Eco coming out from SJ. Really didn't get very many kills at all, so not a lot of opportunity to force up. 1 flashbang onto Zati to enable some kind of a peek as early mid control looking to be established for the CT side. A strong buy for Fierce Esports. They picked up 2 Kriegs, AK-47. It's just Eccles and Alex dropping down onto those MAC-10s to try and farm themselves some cash. SJ playing very passively in the early round, trying to bait these rifles up close and personal. Is going to be the only opportunity. Double dink with the USP will kill against armor, but they're going to have to be up close and personal to find it. Plenty of players stacked in towards CT in the rotation as well from Arvid and Kern. There's going to be 5 players here for this push from Fierce Esports, and there's plenty of presence. If that flashbang time's right for Zati, this could be huge. But swinging right, 1, 2 for Fraze, looking for more as well, as Alex is going to mop up house. They do manage to find 1, but it's only the MAC-10 of Alex, and that could have gone so much better for SJ Gaming. You thought for a moment, all 5 players there, the flashbang in hand, there was some opportunity for the CT side of things, but really not able to find anything, as they will go into their first full buy of the game. Not a lot available to them. They do have 5 rifles, 2 AUGs picked up despite the nerf. No AWP and limited utility. Most players sacrificing head armor does make Eccles on that MAC-10 a little bit more viable. Nice early nades to start things off. Zati taking a good amount of damage, trying to go for that early aggressive spam through the smoke in towards the B tunnels. Not catching any real kind of damage now, as Fierce just starting to establish that mid control, looking a lot more default into this round. You do have Arvid towards mid, just being flashed off the angle now by Alex. Getting that information, starting to clear some real estate. The Molotov followed by the spam through, just trying to clear out some angles here. Fierce, they are taking that mid control, and it looks like they want to go straight through with it. Passive hold towards B and A long, as now they're starting to make their push towards short. There's a really nice pincer in towards the A-bomb site at the moment here for Fierce Esports. They do have Sadix and Jampy out towards A-long, in very difficult positions to clear, playing the crossfires. 1 behind the blue crate, 1 in towards the pit, but that has allowed the rotation. You can see Arvid in towards the B-bomb site. He's up on top of the scaffolding. There's 2 players actually inside of the site. So by establishing this long hold, they're actually just sacrificing mid control entirely, allowing mid the way of Fierce if they want to take it, but just setting themselves up. The bomb's going towards that B-bomb site. The utility's trying to fake the rotation, but nothing coming through for SJ, as now the push will be Eccles and Frey right into the crosshairs of Kern. He gets an easy frag to open things up. They're going to swarm Eccles with the MAC-10, desperately trying to get something done, but Zati takes him down. Astro able to find 1 on the trade, but there's so much presence here for the CT side. The trade's coming through the way of SJ. A 2 versus 1 now. Stanley the last man alive, and he hasn't got time to even get this bomb down, surely. He's going to have to be really quick about this, and he knows it. Going to plant out in the open. Jampy's read the situation perfectly. Even manages to deny the bomb plant. SJ, 2 players kept alive, 2 Kriegs saved, and how instrumental that could be. Fierce, of course, have already equaled their previous record against this team on this map, so anything from here, realistically, is a bonus. Start getting yourselves warmed up now. They will be able to get a buyout into round number 4. Not the best in the world. They've got the Kriegs, they have an AK, but sacrifice for Alex as he's just got the 1 flashbang and the CZ75 to try and work some kind of a strategy here. Fierce early on taking aggressive control of long. No real presence towards the B-bomb site. It looks like these rifles trying to take advantage of the long-range angles as Frey takes his way down into the pit. SJ have responded by getting very aggressive in towards short, taking that map control away from the T side of Fierce, and that's allowing Arvid just to focus his attention towards long. He knows there's no presence in towards short. The rotation can come through from Zati as a consequence. He holds mid. Really nice CT setup here from SJ Gaming as Fierce just going for the contact play, starting to sneak their way up the long wall, hugging that left-hand wall, giving Arvid no information to work with. Now the smokes come through. That's actually one missed smoke. That's going to make things very awkward. Through the spam, there's an early frag to be found, and Zati will get it. The headshot onto Alex, and that lack of a second smoke now for Fierce is going to be a real issue. They're going to have to cross right into the crosshairs, and it's a field day for Zati before Stanley finally trades him out. But now they can pounce from the site, and Arvid will do just that. SJ drawing level, and that one blocked smoke, Alex actually got in the way of his teammate's smoke, dismantles and derails the entire round for Fierce Esports. They look like they had a strategy in mind. They wanted to just isolate that long position, sneak their way up, smoke the cross, but one block smoke, and it all falls apart, forcing them down onto the eco. Just the one P250 for Stanley, and you can see those two safe Kriegs still over on the CT side of things. This is exactly how SJ would have wanted to respond. They lost the pistol round, they lost the follow-up, but now they've won a couple in a row. Little mistakes from Fierce starting to creep into their gameplay, and the full eco has to come out. No more economy available for Fierce Esports. Taking short control. I do like the strategies they're pulling out, though. They're getting aggressive. They're taking map controllers. Now they're going to look to run boost, try and distract Arvid on that AK-47. He takes the early contact in towards CT, gets the frag, falls back off the angle, and now he can start to punish them. The headshot's working out perfectly for the AK-47. Arvid looking for more, tapping away, will find Stanley, and the two remaining players just trying to get the bomb down, but Jampy's done a Kukli, and Arvid cleans up house. That was really nice from SJ. Jampy even pulling out the Kukli to deny that bomb plant. Just managing to hold things off there, SJ. They don't even let the bomb go down for Fierce Esports. That is buying them that extra economic pressure over on the T side of things, as they will get the buyout, going for the quad Kriegs. This is what we like to see. Just the one AK-47 over on Frey as he picks up some utility to support an early and fast control of short coming through. Stanley and Alex getting very aggressive to open things up. Looking to lock out a huge chunk of this map early on. Alex looking for information, but nothing to be found. It looks like Salix actually wants to get very aggressive in towards long. Frey spamming through, not quite going to connect for the time being, as he's willing to just sit and hold a very tight angle. He knows he's put some doubt into the mind of Fierce. He knows they're going to have to waste utility clearing out a long now, as he just falls back off that angle. The aggression not finding him an opening pick. No need to hang around any longer as he sets up the crossfire between himself and Jampy on that Krieg. Fierce looked like they were anchoring on that long control. Haven't got it anymore, so the bomb makes its way back down in towards middle. Zati and Kern still on that B-bomb site. Again, SJ not opting for any real mid presence. And if Fierce can work that out towards the middle of this first half, they can really start to exploit that scenario. Smoke goes down. Arvid with the HE to try and catch some damage, but it's a fake smoke, a lurk smoke at the time being. Over on the Fierce side of things, the Molotov will buy a little bit more time, as again, it's the sneak out towards this B-bomb site and swinging on the peak. Arzati's got the information. Kern gets the frags. The trades are coming through, and somehow the Molotov contributes for one. And again, the round has fallen apart for Fierce. Alex is trying to recover the situation, and he has just about unlocked B. But it's a 3 versus 2. There's utility and firepower still available for the CTs, and they're just looking to deny this bomb plant. A really nice flashbang allows Jampy into the site, and Alex can only find the one on the trade before he's shut down. Really efficient CT side play from SJ. 4 rounds on the trot for them, and again, the economy not great for Fierce. Dust 2 looking like it could be a horrific repeat of the events we previously saw for Fierce Esports. They won't want to be dropping down into that lower bracket. They're going to do everything they can to avoid it. The full buy is very, very strong over on the SJ side of things, and there's very limited firepower for Fierce. They got the Deagles out, the CZ onto Astro as well to try and get something as they take that mid control. You can see Jampy with the AWP is a little bit vulnerable to being run over by the pistol, so the M4A1 of Kern comes out in support as Jampy hits a nice shot. Gets the second as well, looking for more. Jampy an absolute firing range in towards mid. Gets himself a triple kill. And now it's down to Frey and Eccles really to just try and recover this situation. There's a significant economic investment on the Fierce side of things. And they need to get some picks. But Jampy looking to shut this down. One away from the ace. But it's stolen by Zati, who looks back to his teammate an apology. 4 kills for Jampy on the AWP. It's basically just a warm-up against the Pistols. As finally, Astro will get his hands on the AWP. Could this be the difference maker? Something certainly needs to change over on the Fierce Esports side of things. Astro does have the AWP, the utility behind it very limited. Teammates have managed to pick up a lot to compensate. 2 Kriegs, 2 Echoes, full nades as Arvid's going to go for that early long control. And this time Jampy mixing things up with the AWP has got very aggressive towards short. Fierce counter with a long take and do manage to push Sadix and Arvid off the angle. So a little bit of map control to work with perhaps for Fierce. And could this be what they need? They still have Jampy so aggressive short, and they've pushed all the way through the tunnels here. Oh, Zati walks into the crosshairs, can only find the dink onto Eccles, and could that be the opening pick? A little bit too aggressive from SJ, but Sadix through the smoke, taps away and finds one in response almost instantly. A lucky frag through smoke makes it a 4 versus 4 situation, and that really allows the rotations to come through for SJ. You can see Fierce just backing out of the situation. They've posted Stanley in towards the pit with his Krieg. He can try and get whatever damage he can from there, but with Sadix and Jampy locking out short with this crossfire, Sadix plays the anti-flash. It's going to be very difficult for Fierce to execute long. Molotov to force the position, but Arvid just hides behind it, finds the first before the trade makes it 3-on-3. Still that short control persists for the CT side of things. Sadix looks like he wants to go through this smoke with a flashbang, and indeed he will, straight through it. Stanley has no idea he's there, but Astro's got his back. 3 versus 2. Jampy on short has to go huge from Gandalf, manages to find an opener. And his back is slowly being covered as the smoke will allow the bomb to be picked up. 28 seconds left on the clock. Krieg recovered by Astro. They have to find this bomb plant, but they can't find the frag. Kern gets the first. And Astro with the quick scope. Jampy takes him down. Again, SJ just looking a little bit too good for Fierce here on the CT side of Dust 2. 6-2 the scoreline. The full buy does not work out for the UK roster. And the AWP is still saved by Jampy, who is just hitting shots. A really nice quick scope from him. Making it happen on the CT side of Dust 2. A very difficult side to get right. The early utility just straight pushing through this Fierce. Astro with the CZ up close and personal will find an entry. Actually manages to escape with the AUG on this half by Eccles, the only one to really invest into it. So a second rifle recovered. A 5 versus 4. Man advantage for Fierce. Could they find an execute out of this? They've left Eccles posted up in towards the tunnels. He's there just to catch that aggression that we saw from the CT side in the previous round. SJ looking like they're spread a little bit thinly here. Arvid using a lot of utility to try and lock down short as Fierce starts to take that mid control. Kern going to be forced off the angle by utility. Will allow Jampy to come in on the rotation if required. Plenty of Fierce presence in towards short and getting aggressive. Jampy finds the opening pick. Stanley can't find the trade. Somehow Jampy with the triple has single-handedly locked this round out. Eccles will spam through for 1 on the trade to make it 2-on-2. And the CT side no longer have control of the A bomb site. Jampy with absolute heroics, but he needs a little bit more from his teammates here. Zati and Kern 2 versus 2. The retake has to come in. Both players towards short for the time being, using all the utility they have to try and unlock this. Eccles really has to stay alive for as long as he can, but Kern takes him down instantly. Alex, 1 versus 2. The deagle in hand, and that Molotov, will it spread far enough? Will it start to tickle his toes? It doesn't look like it will. Alex has got an angle here. He's got time to play with. There is defuse kits available on the CT side, and they know where he is. The double peek comes in. The defuse will be good. 7-2 for SJ. Made to push it a little bit narrower than they would have liked. 2 players kept alive. Zati will just about be able to grab himself that AWP on the save. So keeping the economy rolling over on the CT side of things here, SJ. Making sure they've always got that cash. Keeping the most expensive rifles up. Really important. And again, Fierce, they've got their 2 rounds, but they're struggling to make anything happen. As this time, double AWP on the T side of Dust 2. Not something you see very often at all. Stanley and Astro both picking up the AWPs. Neither player holding mid at the moment. Stanley will take the late duties on that front as long control looking to be established. Astro flashed off the angle after the early spam. Can't quite connect with the AWP to start the round off. And there we go, the trade of guns. Alex going to pick up that secondary orb. The ex-Fnatic Academy player looking to really be the catalyst for Fierce, who do need to start getting some momentum back. We've seen 7 rounds on the trot for SJ Gaming as Fierce want to take the early contest, and they will win it. Alex gets the opening pick onto Jampy in towards middle. They didn't expect that second AWP to be able to repeat the angle so soon, so the double AWP investments worked out for the early pick, but can they still secure this round, Fierce? They've been struggling to convert their 5 versus 4s. They've had opening picks before and not really found anything from it. Nice flashbang from Zati. He manages to recover the AWP and somehow escapes out of that alive. Astro should have been able to see the head, but doesn't quite connect. Fierce taking short control, but again, the setup towards long from Sadix and Arvid. An arm wrestle of a round early on between these two sides. Fierce, they have short control. They're going to look to execute in towards the A-bomb site. It will be a 5 versus 4 retake. It doesn't look like the long players want any interest in this. As Zati and Kern take control of the tunnels, getting very aggressive. The bomb's going to go down. It is going to be a 5 versus 4 after plant. Do SJ commit to this? Alex on that secondary AWP could walk right into the crosshairs here, and that will be an issue. Sadix in towards the pit with the Krieg, gets an easy opening pick. That AUG ringing out to make it 4 versus 4, but meanwhile the flank from Eccles has found one, and that puts doubt into Zati's mind. He really can't commit to this short push, and as time starts to run out, the CT side on the ropes, they need to find a pick here. The AWP will find the opener. Zati picking it up off of Jampy's body, able to make it 3-on-3, but there's no time as Astro finds the opener. Fully blind, the trade is there, but 2-on-2. The time has run out. The tapping away, Sadix will make it at least expensive, and Eccles, so close to the bomb, has to really hightail it in an attempt to survive. Should just about, on 18 HP, be able to retrieve the Krieg, and buy his team a 3rd round by the skin on their teeth. Time the friends of Fierce. 7-3. But the problem for the UK side here is that the reinvestment is so strong for SJ. They have no fear. They have just fully bought everything they could ever want for Christmas. AWP onto Jampy. Rifles for all of the teammates. No question about it. It's a very strong buy over for SJ, and not quite the same story on the Fierce side of things. Frey has had to drop down onto the Mac 10. AWP for Astro. Kriegs for the remainder of this Fierce side. So Frey, the only player on an unscoped weapon. Scope hasn't necessarily been utilised that much over on the Krieg side of things. We've seen a lot more unscoped shots. Of course, with that increased accuracy, it's a lot more effective. Slower strafe speed, but players seeming to adopt it more often than not, as that's a triple boost coming in to try and see over that smoke for Astro. Triple boost in the tunnels to get this information. Astro, though, not going to benefit, not really able to get anything off this opening pick. Kern playing towards back plat. Just buys the information and spamming through Zati. Oh, Kern, if he goes too far to the right here, things could get very awkward. But Astro just drops off of the boost at the worst possible time. 3 players going to creep their way out of the tunnels. This Molotov will force Kern into the crosshairs, but it's missed. As that Molotov missed its target as the utility's thrown for Fierce, and they're looking to execute the speed bomb site. Alex finds the opening pick. Jampy comes into support and will be able to refrag to make this a 4-on-4. Still, the Mac 10 persists for Fierce as they look to recover this situation, just making their way back around in towards that A-bomb site. They have short control. They can look to anchor A, but it's going to be a very difficult take with Frey leading the charge on that Mac 10. Arvid is still locking out long. Sadix needs to find the damage here, but he's not quite doing it. A range, Astro and Frey will combine to make it a 4v3 as the bomb goes down, short plants in. Can SJ find this retake? Have Fierce finally found the formula that works? A nice nade from Frey. Doesn't get as much damage as it deserves onto Jampy, but 4-on-3 and cutting it out. Stanley takes the long player down, and you can see Zati and Jampy, once that opening pick's gone, no reason to commit to this whatsoever. Frey spots out the players, will even grab himself an AUG as he looks to do some exit damage, but Zati and Jampy just hightailing it in towards that B-bomb site. No reason to commit here. They want to keep those rifles in their hands if at all possible, but Astro has other ideas. Finds himself an early opening pick. And it's just Zati left alive, and they are trying to pincer him in. You can see Stanley getting aggressive as well, and he will actually find the pick. Eccles, that is ideal. Taking both those rifles away from SJ, and they may have finally forced the half buy out of them. It looks like the force will come in as we see a pause. Unfortunately, I do not know whose pause that is. I'm just going to go check and see if anybody has any idea. I'm imagining it's going to be over on the SJ side of things, trying to work out how they want to approach the remainder of this first half. It's a difficult situation they put themselves in. By opting to force into this round, the economy is absolutely busted. They are on a 2-round loss bonus, so it's not the worst in the world, but it's really not an ideal situation on the CT side of things. SJ really need this round to go their way. Scout comes out for Zati. There's rifles, the AWP again on Jampy, but it's a much stronger buy for Fierce. Of course, Frey saving the AUG. Kriegs for Stanley and Eccles. Alex yet to buy, but I imagine there's a rifle on the floor for him somewhere. And indeed, there is another Krieg. So the fully scoped lineup coming out for Fierce. The meta is back, boys. And Sadix and Arvid are going to have to deal with a lot of early pressure. Stanley holding that long angle. There's so much utility to force him back, though. Molotov smokes. Flashbangs to take control. And through the edge of it, Stanley's down to 1 HP. That is an awesome spam to open things up from SJ. Getting a lot of damage through the smoke. While Alex tries to find an opening pick onto Jampy in middle. Using that Krieg against the AWP, a risky game to play as Jampy looks to get aggressive. Can't quite hit the flick, and he's taking damage through these doors. Still getting aggressive and will find the opening pick. The damage is there on the second player, but Stanley does trade out on 1 HP. He's taken down the AWPer. Can't ask much more of a player on just 1 point of health than to take down the most valuable rifle over on the CT side of things. SJ looking to recover it. Sadix holding long. Is spotted out by Frey, who actually benefits on the AUG. And still, Zati is stuck on this scout. You can see Arvid knows he has to get aggressive here. Spots out Eccles, but the shoulder peek is a little bit too good for him. Can't quite hit the shot. And now he really needs these rotations. Kern going to come in towards CT to support. Zati has managed to recover the AWP, but all the while, Fierce, they're just skinning SJ alive. 2 frags to leave Zati in a 1 versus 4. He's got the AWP, but surely this is an impossible scenario for him, and he looks to just save the AWP, and indeed, he's going to bail in towards the tunnels. No more interest in this round. Fierce, more than double the amount of rounds they got in their previous attempt on D2. 7-5 the scoreline. And this is starting to shape up into a competent T-sided half from the UK side. Much, much better than their previous attempt up against SJ Gaming. 4 players kept alive. The economy keeps building over on the T side of things. And with the cash saved from this round, there's almost a guarantee of an investment if a round does go south. So they're starting to build themselves up a little bit of an intimidating T half on Dust 2. 7-5 the score. The saved AWP will be the only rifle really available over on the SJ side of things. They're going to be down onto the pistols. And if Fierce can dispatch of this, there is an opportunity to even take the lead at the half. Arvid's going to drop down onto the CZ. The pause is called. I'll grab a drink of water, a quick sip while we work out what's going on. Everybody just takes a moment to take stock of the situation. Now, Alex not in the best situation economically. He could do with a drop from one of his teammates here. Something to help him build up a little bit of cash. My nose is blocked as anything, so apologies for the slightly stuffy voice on this one. SJ are going to be dropping down onto the half buy. There's not enough cash for them to really get the fullest of full buys out. They're going to have to hope beyond all hope that on that AWP, Zati can do some serious work. It will take something quite impressive over on the CT side of things. The winner of this matchup, of course, facing alternate attacks in the upper bracket, coming down from that MDL relegation to try and win their way back up. There is a Deagle, there is a CZ, and the AWP is out for Zati with the armor to back it up in towards middle. But Fierce look to be going route 1 here, creeping their way out in towards the B-bomb site and into Arvid. Zati finds the opening peak. That allows Arvid to get a second with the Krieg. This is really awkward. Alex can find one, but the trades are there. It's a 4 versus 1 for Astro on this AWP, and he can find nothing. How has that gone so wrong? SJ Gaming get an 8 out of absolutely nothing. And Fierce have just thrown that round away. The setup was so good from Alex. Just not able to do anything about it. Zati, Arvid, the CZ and the AWP combining to perfection. 8-5. The buy will be in, of course, for Fierce. I mentioned that built-up economy earlier, and they've managed to get a buyout, but again, the AWP is back for Jampy. The AUG in the hands of Zati. Kern's even managed to save himself with Krieg as Fierce starts to take control of middle. This is an awkward situation. Fierce going for the double boost, looking for the peek on Alex and Stanley, but not spotting anybody out. This time SJ not opting for that short aggression that's almost become a trademark of theirs so far. Jampy wants to get this opening pick, but Astro has the angle, has the reaction times, and finds his team the man advantage. Could that be what Fierce need in this fall by 5 versus 4? Alex just going to line up the utility in towards middle, faking that mid to be split, and you can see Zati's very isolated on that B-bomb site. He starts to get a little bit nervous, drops back in behind the doors. He needs the support from Kern in towards CT, who is actually holding his ground, allowing the fast rotation towards either bomb site for the time being. Everybody just takes stock of the situation. Molly over on Frey does force the CTs out. They were looking to get aggressive through Sadix in towards long without the information. SJ left trying to make a play, trying to make something happen. Not a lot they can do here though. Frey locking it out with utility. Short control established. It looks like Fierce just going route 1 here. They're going to explode off of short. Arvid and Sadix to try and hold the fort down. The Molotov goes out onto the site. The drop down into CT could be huge for Stanley, but he's looking the wrong way for the time being. He will find the opening pick. Alex finds a second before Kern can trade, but somehow Kern finds a second before he's taken down. Somehow, some way, SJ again left in an awful situation. 1 versus 3 for Zati. Fierce are just trading more efficiently now, and this is looking much, much better from the Fierce Esports side of things. Their T side looked very lackluster in the last attempt they had against SJ Gaming, but this is much, much better. They're going to get themselves a 6th round on the board. Zati will save the AWP, but the economy really isn't there over on the CT side of things for SJ. They look like they're set to concede a 7th round as we go into the last round of the half. The score will read 8-6, and this is much more promising for Fierce Esports, keeping 3 players alive. They're going to have a very strong fall by into the last round of this first half. Alex just messing about. Oh, Frey after time will take down the AWP. Of course, on the CT side, the after time side of things not quite so important, but it is going to mean this buy is a little bit worse for SJ. They managed to get the AWP out. They managed to get the M4 onto Zati, but CZs for Sadix and an MP9 for Arvid. Very limited firepower to work with us. Trying to spam through and actually finding the tag. Astro going to take Zati down to 31 to open things up. On the CT side, no, they need to get aggressive. Jampy able to find a slight tag through a wall, but nothing significant. Astro finding opening damage and an opening pick onto the AWP of Jampy. Sadix was there and has managed to recover the AWP, but it's 5v4 now, and you can see the CT side desperate. Astro times it beautifully to take Kern down to 13. The edge of the smoke, not the friend of the CT side, and look at the damage there is to work with on the SJ side of things. Kern on 13, Zati on 31. This is looking very awkward for the CT side. They're trying to get aggressive. They're trying to find information, but Stanley shuts it down in mid by taking down Zati. Now a 3 versus 5 for Fierce. They just need to trade efficiently, convert their frags. Kern tries to get aggressive, but tagged down to low HP. Stanley will be all too quick to find that frag. And in a 5 versus 2, the MP9 is going to get nothing done. It's all onto Sadix in towards short. He finds the opening pick onto Eccles. That gives away his position, but now 4 versus 1 for the AWP, trying to drop down into CT. Frey will punish. And the narrowest of leads for SJ. 8-7 as we head into the halftime break. Fierce, they can feel confident here. They can really feel a sense of confidence, the UK side. We saw from the previous results just over a week ago how much they struggled on Dust 2 up against this Finnish lineup of SJ. And now they've really come into this with a different sense of, we feel like we're confident enough to take this map away from the Finnish side. And I mean, they found 7 rounds on their T side. Previously, they found 2. This is quite impressive from Fierce Esports, and it gives them a real opportunity. If they head to Inferno and they play very similarly to how they did in the previous matchup between these two sides, it could be a swift 2-0 for the UK roster, booking themselves that place in the upper slot up against alternate attacks next. Of course, that side's dropped down from MDL, so it really is another level as Neil Zenio, the coach, who can perhaps be credited for this T-side improvement over on the Fierce side of things, does join the server. Always good to have him in things. And I mean, that is the benefit of ending up with a very similar map pick just a week after you face these opponents. You can see Fierce have done their homework. They've worked out the anti-strat, and now they just need to have a good CT half. They just need to look good on the CT side of what is an incredibly puggy map in Dust 2. Alex missing a few shots in the warm-up with the AWP will be mopped up by Jampy on the AK-47. There's potential here for Fierce. I'm feeling confident that if they can get this CT side off to a good start, as the ESEA bot does just let us know the score lines. A solid start here for Fierce would be key. If they take this pistol round, they can feel like they can just springboard off of that into a solid first map. They will be picking up armor early on. Will there be utility for SJ, or are they just going to look to bomb it into a bomb site? Looks like Arvid is going to pick up a smoke and a flashbang armor for the remainder of the SJ side of things. A couple of flashes and a defuse kit for Eccles. Armor for his compatriots, however, as SJ look like they want to split the A-bomb site early on, queuing up towards that long take. Stanley and Alex have committed, as Frey going with a little bit of a spam. Kern actually reloads that P250 at the worst time, somehow escapes with his life on just 53 HP. You can see Fierce, they want to take this double peek, but they're aware of the P250, and Kern gets the first, can't quite find the trade. Alex will take him down, but that has given the A-bomb site to SJ. They've taken that short control, they've pushed it up, 4 on 4, the bomb goes down for a short plant. So much presence towards short for both the CT and the T side. There needs to be some opening frags here for Fierce. Jampy and Zati are holding this corner. Up close and personal, the pop flash is good, but Zati and Jampy a frag apiece. Eccles and Alex, this is impossible to recover surely, and a very isolated Eccles will be taken down. This pistol round not going how Fierce would have envisioned. Alex is desperate to get something happening, but he'll only find the one. The only frag in the round. Kern taken down towards long, playing that distraction role to perfection. Taking down so much presence from the Fierce esports side of things, allowing the bomb to go down on short and allowing his teammates the pistol. 9-7 the scoreline. SJ, they start how they want to continue over on the T side of things. A nice buy as the force has come in for Fierce. They've got these CZs, they've got the scout. Forced off of long by the utility of SJ, who've actually committed to 3 MAC-10s. A little bit of an opportunity perhaps for these pistols. There's head armor on Stanley as well, which makes the MAC-10s a little bit less effective. Push through, and Frey with the 1D to open things up. Takes down Kern. The 5 versus 4. SJ, they have long control, but the opening pick has gone the way of Fierce, and this is where the pistols can start to strike fear into the hearts of a T side. SJ, they have no information to work with. They are fully committed to this long presence, and you can see Fierce know that. They've pushed through the tunnels. They know the B-bomb site is almost certainly not going to be hit here. The utility allows Jampy in towards the pit as Frey starts to push, starts to pester towards top of middle. Zati is going to get the timing. He's not watching it any longer, and that's going to allow Frey to go on a very long flank attempt here. SJ still committed to this long take. Still nothing for them to work with as Alex is trying to set up a boost above this smoke. The tag from the scout. Not quite the frag, but damage done. SJ, they're committed. They have to hit this, and the tags are still coming through. So much nade damage as well as the deagle spam through. Not going to find too much of anything. CZ goes for 1 before the trade. 4 on 3. Still tags to work with, but Arvid's managing to take the bomb site. Jampy will be taken down for a tag. 3 on 2. It's Sadix and Arvid, but they're finding damage. They're finding frags. It's all onto Stanley. 1 versus 2. He can't convert. Somehow SJ Gaming make it happen. The AK of Sadix a little bit too much for the CT side. Somehow, SJ rescue themselves from the ashes there. That round could have so easily swung the way of Fierce on their CT side. Not quite able to find it, though. And now the full eco has to come in. Eccles grabs himself a CZ, a P250 for Stanley as early presence towards the B-bomb site for SJ Gaming. Just looking to lock things out here. Looking to convert on the eco. There is the CZ up on top of the boxes over on the CT side of things, and we saw how effective that can be if you can distract away from that position. It can really do damage, but Alex is going to be taken down. Jampy on that MAC-10, forcing the aggression, and the dinks not converted. Zati on 2 HP gets himself a double spray down, and these pistols really struggling to get any work done up against the rifles. Astro, the last man alive on just 2 points of health, is being flanked by the MAC-10. The nade even comes in onto his dead body. He would have been dead either way. 11-7 the scoreline. SJ starting to stretch their lead over on the T side of D2, and Fierce really need to find a response. They've gone for the big investment. They've grabbed themselves the double AWPs here. Frey and Astro one apiece. They really want this round to go their way. They need something to start happening. Jampy's sticking with the MAC-10, looking to farm before he grabs the AWP, as it will be a long take from Fierce, and Sadic's going to look to go straight out with the utility. Gets the opening pick as well. Stanley taken down. The response not quite there. Alex will dive into the pit, but what a headshot from Sadix! Ripping the head off the pit player. The nades onto Jampy, still alive on 12 HP. And 2 early picks for SJ, as they will get pit control. Astro able to find 1 in response, and actually just locks the pit out. That's a really critical frag for the Fierce man. That just gives him a little bit more room to maneuver in towards Car. But the double AWPs, of course, not going to be ideal on this retake. 3 versus 3. Long control completely established for SJ. And the CT side, they're just getting locked out of this A-bomb site slowly but surely. Sadix, shoulder peeking the angle, using the utility to try and work out where these AWPs are. Frey goes for one last check towards B, but do they even commit to this here? Double AWPs on the retake going to be incredibly difficult for Fierce as the bomb goes down. SJ playing this round to perfection. Sadix with a little bit of individual brilliance on that AK-47. It looks like Fierce almost instantly, they want to go for this. They want this round to be theirs. Pushing up towards short. AWP and M4. Second AWP in towards CT. Frey needs to find an opening pick here. The nade over the top, not quite going to connect onto Jampy, or will it? Frey takes him down. That makes this viable. 3 on 2. Zati and Sadix, and Zati has to get aggressive here. Right into the crosshairs walks Astro. The double spray down is good. It's all on Frey. Trying to kukli it, but the flank is in from Sadix. And again, individual players show up huge for SJ. Zati and Sadix, the heroes of the round. The entirety of that round rests on their shoulders. They find all 5 kills between the 2 of them. And again, force Fierce into an awful position as SJ looks set for a 13th. CZs, D-Eagles, P250s. The CT side on the ropes here. No real economy to work with. Fast control of short. Astro on just a P250 will have to fall off the Kenny S angle. Gets a little bit of information, but almost instantly forced back. And you can see the CT side, they're trying to be proactive with these pistols. They know they can't play reactionary CS, but SJ have been given short control, and Arvid is starting to exploit that. Plenty of map control on the CT side of things, as Zati just using a little bit of utility in towards long. Arvid will start to execute onto this A-bomb site, trying to make sure there's no kind of a stack, as the counter-aggression from Eccles and Frey is going to lead them right into the crosshairs of Kern, who does take the early dink, falls back off the angle. That'll allow Frey to get aggressive and cause the rotations in, but Sadix, meanwhile, is ripping open the A-bomb site. You can see the CTs desperately trying to get the flank going. We'll be able to find one. Alex takes down Kern. That's an AK-47. 4 on 3 now. They really need this retake to go their way. Or do they just save? They have 2 sets of armor. They have an AK-47, and it looks like that's the call. Alex is hightailing his way into the B-bomb site. Going to be grabbing that AK-47 and keeping his hands well and firmly attached to it. Frey and Astro will go searching for some exit frags. A little bit more damage towards the end of this round would be good, of course. But SJ, they are really starting to accelerate on their T side. Excuse me, not the CT side. What am I on about? Their T side, they are really starting to find their feet, accelerate beyond the pace that Fierce Esports can really keep up with. They're yet to find a round on the CT side of things, and could their Dust 2 be falling apart here? Of course, if it is, we will head to Inferno, second map of the series, and it is Fierce Esports map pick. It was a close affair last time these 2 teams met. 16-13 the scoreline. Can Fierce find something? Again, they're going to invest onto the double AWP. Stanley gets the saved AK-47 dropped across. M4s for his teammates, but there's an AWP for Jampy. AKs and a Krieg for Zati as well. So much firepower on the SJ side of things. They've done this round previously with a MAC-10. As the early utility comes out towards long, Fierce will be allowed to take control of the pit. They do have Stanley posted up with that AK-47 as getting aggressive tight on the angle. Alex is actually just going to be left on his own. SJ going for a fairly default early round here on Dust 2, just taking control of the lower tunnel, starting to split out towards middle. It's tight on the angle of fully blinded Eccles to find the entry, but Stanley actually gets very aggressive, finds the refrag, and you can see what Astro's trying to do with that AWP. Knows he has to be a little bit cautious on this. It's still a 4 versus 4. Stanley's managed to level the ship for the time being, boosted up on top of those boxes. That's a really nice off angle to get that information. 4 versus 4. Mid control for SJ, but not a lot else as Frey decides to go searching in towards the tunnels. You can see, aware of that situation, Arvid spots him out and takes him down. That's the B control gone. Now, SJ can just explode onto this B bomb site, and they know it. Alex trying to get a boost up from Astro. The Molotov's actually going to be put out, and that buys them time, but Kern knows the situation. It's a 4 versus 2, and Fierce have to save. This is going to be a 14th round for SJ Gaming, and it is looking good for them now. Just 2 rounds away from taking their map pick, and Jampy's not going to allow them to keep the AWP. Astro taken down as Stanley left 1 versus 4 to try and save that AK-47, to try and give his team something to buy around to prevent this match point. This is very, very awkward now for Fierce on the CT side. Still yet to find a round. That one looked promising, but Stanley left all alone in a 1 versus 4, desperately trying to stay alive, trying to find something to work with, but there will be no gifted frags here. He's going to have to lurk around. We'll be able to take down Kern trying to hunt him, but that gives away his position, and you can see so much money for SJ. They're going to tap on the back of the head. Arvid takes him down. Nothing saved for Fierce. If they want to invest, they have to do it fully. No rifles to back them up. And it looks like they will be going for the Force to try and prevent map point. Prevent SJ from taking a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series. And prevent themselves from dropping down into that dreaded lower bracket. But it's such a strong buy from SJ. Astro trying to contest towards middle. The early flashes. Utility will allow Kern to just straight away take short control. The reaction a little bit slow from Fierce. They have sent Eccles back, but he's only on a FAMAS. 2 FAMAS in an MP9 over on that CT side buy. You can see Fierce making a lot of compromises economically. It's going to be down to Frey and Astro to lock down this B-bomb site. The only real perk for the CT side is they do have that AWP towards B. And Astro will find the opening pick. Takes down Jampy. Takes down the second on Sadix. Still staying alive on B. And SJ not looking too sure they can commit as Frey finds another. Kern will find a refrag. And that allows him to split this B-bomb site. But the rotation's still coming in on the CT side. It's a 4 versus 2. And Kern has to find a pick here. The spray is good for 1. 3 on 2. Eccles swings into the crosshair and does find the refrag. And now Arvid all onto him. The force buy looking good for Fierce. It's a 1 versus 3 for Arvid on that AK-47. Has to find himself something. Holding in towards the tunnels. 50 seconds left on the clock. He has time to play with. He has rounds to back him up here. He can commit to this 1v3 if he wants to go for it. Doesn't look like he's set on saving just yet. He's still playing fairly aggressively in towards upper tunnels. Not looking to escape this situation too soon. Perhaps just looking to play time here. And you can see Fierce is starting to get a little bit fidgety. They know that he could potentially have the A-bomb site, but the dinks will come through. Eccles will take him down. There is an 8th round available for Fierce. They will start to get something started on that CT side. But you can see the economy. It's still there for SJ. They still have the full buy. The saved rifles crucially will allow Fierce Esports to get something of a buy going. They will get the double AWPs out. The utility is decent across the board. No defuse kit for Eccles or Frey, but they can be picked up off the ground. So SJ again going for very fast control in the middle. This time it's Frey on the AWP with a beautiful pick to open things up. A flick down onto the angle. Takes down the first player, and that's actually stalled what was going to be a fast mid-B split for SJ Gaming. Can't really commit to it once that early pick has come in. You can see Stanley and Frey have got mid absolutely locked out for the time being. SJ just starting to stall a little bit on this round. Not quite finding their footing, and perhaps starting to gift Fierce a little bit of a comeback into this second half. Nice CT setup across the board for Fierce Esports. SJ just looking to queue it up towards short here. They are literally just going to explode out and try and find frags. The utility used for the CT side, that Molotov buys a little bit of time. That smoke's going to fade for SJ, and they're not going to be able to execute behind it, as now they will line it up. Flashbang so good. Again, Fierce so efficient with their utility, as now the execute comes in. The Molotovs not going to quite reach Stanley. Will they? Oh, no, they won't. And that just leaves SJ completely in the dark about this. Stanley finds the first. Stanley finds the second. The double spray down. Astro comes in with one more, and it will be the triple for Stanley in towards Goose, locking down that A-bomb site. And now, Fierce, they have 2 rounds on the trot over on that CT side. The economy has one last roll of the dice from SJ before the eco comes in. Could this be the lifeline that the UK roster need? 14-9 the scoreline. Half an opportunity for the UK side here. Can they make it happen as Frey, boosted up, finds the opening pick onto Jampy? That's exactly the start Fierce needed. They find themselves an opening pick. The AWP will be recovered, and we've seen Zati can be very handy on it himself, so the only real concern is the loss of life for SJ. Now in a 5 versus 4, will Fierce be able to convert on this? Astro still posted up towards long on the primary AWP. Secondary AWP of Frey goes towards the B-bomb site. This is such a nice CT setup at the timing. Zati has the better reactions to take down Astro towards long, and now it starts to get a little bit awkward. The rotation for Stanley. Alex is stuck out towards long, and he knows he needs to go back to support his teammates. Grabs himself the AWP. Can he lock down this short position? The flashbangs will keep him guessing a little while longer. This bomb should go down without too many more issues for SJ Gaming. 4 on 4. Alex looking to get aggressive. Will actually take down the planter. That's absolutely huge. The bomb has to be recovered by Kern, who will get it down, but 4v3. Alex has bought his teammates a lifeline here for Fierce. The smoke will go down just to keep him off of it a little while longer. But with Sadix out towards long doors, it's all on Arvid and Kern here. Arvid walks right into the crosshairs of Frey. Kern alone to try and anchor this one down. We'll be able to find one. Sadix finds one as well. The pit push not working out for Alex. 2 on 2. Frey and Eccles, they need to make this retake work. They have a couple of smokes, but Kern staying alive on the site. The Molotov goes onto the bomb. Kern finds the first. Frey drops down into CT, desperately trying to find something. He will find the one. Jumps and hits the Kukli, but does he have time for the defuse? I'm not sure he does. He doesn't. No kit for Frey. That was so close. Frey hits the Kukli, but he can't find the round. Just about saves the AWP as SJ Gaming finally convert themselves onto map point. And Frey has got to be kicking himself. If he bought a defuse kit there, that round is done. He might have just had that defuse. I'm not quite sure on the timings, but so nearly the heroics from Frey. A force buy will come in, of course, for Fierce to try and prevent map 1 going the way of SJ Gaming, but 15-9, so many opportunities for SJ to convert. The buy isn't great over on their side of things. Arvid has to drop down onto Galil, but there is an MP9 picked up for the CT side. A huge nade comes in from Eccles. That is absolutely crucial. Early damage done makes that MP9 a little bit more effective as Alex looks to get aggressive with it out towards long. Being proactive, taking the information. Molotov from Stanley will force SJ out of things for a little while longer. Spamming through, Jampy does find a little bit of damage, taking Stanley down to 67, but again, that nade is still the most significant damage dealer as Astro, holding the off angle towards Goose, will just take the shoulder peek and hit the shot onto Kern. That is an awesome reaction shot to make it 5 versus 4. Still damage onto Sadix and Jampy to work with as well for the SMG. This is looking good so far over on the CT side of things. Fierce might be able to find themselves double digits here, and that could give them some confidence going into Inferno. SJ have short control to work with, but they're second guessing themselves. They saw Astro out there with the AWP, who's actually just relocated to long, and have decided to instead try and take mid control. Secondary AWP of Frey is currently locking this down as the mid B split smokes come in. There's 3 CT players in towards this B bomb site. Frey, Stanley, and Eccles. Frey's flashed off the early contact, but he can drop the Molotov in towards the window. He's buying so much time for these rotations. SJ, for the time being, just locked out by utility. 4 on 3. They're going to have to make their way in here, and the Molotov's doing more work. Champion 7 HP. The trades come through 1 for 1. Sadix finds a second, but it's now 3v2 as the bomb has to go down. Champion 7 HP will be able to commit to the plant. There's no HE for Fierce to take him down, and Zati making it happen. 2 on 2 now, spots the second player. There's damage to work with for Fierce here. Astro still on that AWP, still stuck in towards CT. Can he find Jampy? Spots him out, hits the shot. It's all onto Zati on just 6 points of health as Alex chunts him down with the USPS. Finds the frag, finds the round. Fierce will get themselves into double digits here. Finds the frag. The retake just about coming off. Fierce get themselves a 10th. They are looking to push this the distance. They are looking to force the OT. Forcing SJ into an awkward position here as they will have to drop down onto the half by. They really don't have enough cash. Going to be struggling to get anything going. Deagle comes out for Sadix. Same could be said of Jampy as he picks up a smoke as well, but it's going to be very difficult for them to break a defense that has become increasingly resolute for Fierce Esports. Still the double up setup as Sadix on the Deagle wants to go towards long, and he'll find the opening pick. Frey trades it out 1 for 1, dropping down onto the USPS, but the damage is done surely with the nades as Frey finds another pick. The Deagles, though, still doing work. Sadix grabs himself a second. And now a 3 versus 3. So Alex has grabbed himself a double kill with the deagle. Zati's still got that deagle up. Arvid's stuck on the Glock for the time being, and the rifles really aren't in a recoverable position. Both of those picks not quite in an ideal position for SJ Gaming, but they're going to be happy to have found a couple of openings. Alex on the fast flank, able to find one, spots the second player. Zati in a really isolated position. Can't get much of anything done here. The smoke goes down. He's stuck, completely locked out with that deagle. The B-bomb site is open and Arvid is finding this out, but the bomb is still stuck on the back of Zati with that deagle spamming through the smoke, trying to find anything, as Arvid does manage to take the B-bomb site. That might force Alex to rotate off, but he'll hang around, drops the bomb, and it's all onto Arvid. 1 versus 3, 40 seconds left on the clock. A deagle and no deagle, a Glock and no armor. He's going to walk right into the crosshair, and Alex will clean up house. 11 to 15. There will be the buy coming in here for SJ. They need just one more round to take map 1, but Fierce are not going to go quietly. Kriegs and AKs come out across the board for SJ. No AWP, no cash to buy it. Utility incredibly limited for the T side of things. Fierce, they got everything they could want for Christmas. 24 kills for Frey as well. Really starting to feel it in this second half. He's got the AWP. Eccles will be left isolated towards the B-bomb site for the time being. The Molotov buys a little bit of time, but SJ, they're just queuing up. They want to rush B here. The age-old strat has been called. The smoke comes out. The push comes through. Eccles can get nothing done. Arvid takes him down. Being brought down to 18 HP in the process is now the fast retake trying to come in, but Astro's gone too soon. 5 on 3 now. Stanley completely locked out of proceedings as the pop flash is perfect. He's trying to push his way up to the window, but this bomb should go down without any issues. The 1-for-1 trade. Frey and Alex, the last 2 players left alive, desperately trying to make their way into this bomb site, but you can see they could still be getting flanked. They know it. The Molotov will actually claim the first frag of Kern as he looked to get that bomb down. So 3 versus 2. There's damage to work with for Fierce. Is there potential? Alex trying to spot out over the top of this smoke. It's down to Alex and Frey, 2 of the standout players from this UK side, to try and prevent this first map going the way of SJ. The crossfires are so good for the T side though. Jampy and Zati hiding on the site. There's no utility for Fierce to try and flush them out. Frey desperately trying to find the peaks. That bomb ticks down. Alex takes the early contact, does find the opening, and they might swing into the AWP here. The AWP still holding down that angle. Misses the shot. Astro gets taken down. It's all onto Alex. He can't find it. SJ will take map 1, and we will be heading very, very shortly to Inferno. Do not go anywhere.